Hello, welcome back to Miss Bell's classroom. Today in class I'm going to be reading some interesting space facts to help you go to sleep. So, the first one is we always see the same side of the moon no matter where we stand on Earth. So this is because the moon rotates on its axis the same rate that it rotates the Earth. Okay, next fact is there are approximately 100,000 million stars in the Milky Way. And the Milky Way is the one that contains the most stars. There are three main types of galaxies: elliptical, spiral, and irregular. And the Milky Way galaxy is a spiral galaxy. Okay, in 2016, scientists detected a radio signal from a source 5 billion light years away. And just using your naked eye, you can see 3 to 7 different galaxies from Earth. And those galaxies, and I'm sorry if I pronounce these wrong, I apologize. The Andromeda Galaxy, the Triangulum Galaxy, and the Omega Centauri, and the Sagittarius Dwarf Spheroidal Galaxy. The International Space Station is the largest manned object ever sent to space. So it's 119 yards or 109 meters long. And it's about 250 miles or 400 kilometers above Earth. It's the third brightest object in the night sky. Saturn is the second largest planet in our solar system. It's about 9 times the size of Earth, and due to its low density, it only has a weight of roughly 1/8 of Earth, though. Okay. A day on Pluto lasts for 153 hours long, and that equates to about 6 days, and it lasts so long because of the slow rotation rate. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are known as the inner planets. Any free-moving liquid in outer space will form itself into a sphere, and it's because of something called surface tension, which is an imbalance of intermolecular attractive forces, and it can also occur in low Earth orbit. The sun weighs about 330,000 times more than the Earth. It is about 109 times the diameter of Earth, and the Earth could fit in the sun about 1.3 million times. Footprints left on the moon won't disappear as there is no wind. Next fact, because of lower gravity, a person who weighs 220 pounds on Earth would weigh 84 pounds on Mars. The Milky Way galaxy is 105,000 light years wide, and it would take a modern spacecraft about 450 million years to travel to the center of our galaxy. The Earth's rotation is slowing slightly as time goes on, so that actually means that days were shorter in the past, and because the tidal affects the moon, that causes a difference in the Earth's rotation. Outer space is only 62 miles away. The International Space Station circles Earth every 92 minutes. If you were driving at 75 miles per hour, it would take 258 days to drive around Saturn's rings. Saturn's rings are about 175,000 miles long. Stars twinkle because of the way light is disrupted as it passes through Earth's atmosphere. The highest mountain discovered is the Olympus Mons, which is located on Mars. The Whirlpool Galaxy was the first celestial object identified as being spiral. A light year is the distance covered by light in a single year. So light moves at the velocity of about 186,000 miles, or 300,000 kilometers in a second. There are 79 known moons orbiting Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet in our solar system with the most moons. It also has the largest moon in our solar system. And I apologize if I pronounce this wrong. The moon is called Ganymede and is 33,000 miles in diameter. It's actually bigger than Mercury and is visible with binoculars. NASA's Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite found evidence of water on Earth's moon. The Martian day is 24 hours, 39 minutes, and 35 seconds long. So you'd assume there are less days in a year on Mars than Earth, right? Wrong. There's actually 687 Martian days in a Martian year because the Earth orbits slower than the Earth. Because Mars orbits the Earth slower than the Earth. The Sun makes a full rotation once every 25 to 35 days. So Triton, the moon of Neptune, is gradually getting closer to the planet it orbits. So scientists believe that when Triton eventually gets too close to Neptune, it will be torn apart by the gravities of the planet. And it could potentially create another ring around Neptune, which would mean that it would have more rings than Saturn. There are more stars in space than there are grains of sand in the world. There are 10 times more stars in the night sky than grains of sand on the Earth, with 70 sextillion stars being visible from Earth through a telescope. Neptune takes nearly 165 Earth years to make one orbit of the Sun. That's equivalent to 60,000 Earth days to orbit the Sun just once. Neptune has a very slow orbital speed of around 3 miles per second, or 5 kilometers per second. Pluto's largest moon, Charon, is half the size of Pluto. Saturn's moon, Triton, orbits the planet backwards, and it's actually the only large moon of any of the planets that does this. It's called retrograde orbit. Uranus's blue glow is due to the gases in the atmosphere. So Uranus is made of hydrogen, helium, and methane. In our solar system, there are 4 planets known as the gas giants: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Uranus has 27 moons that have been discovered so far. So 5 of those are large and 22 are small. Because of its unique tilt, a season on Uranus is equivalent to 21 Earth years. Earth is a planet not named after God. Due to the sun and the moon's gravitational pull, Earth has tides. This is because the moon's tidal force causes the Earth and the water on it to bulge out on the side closest to the moon, and this is what causes the world's tides. Pluto is smaller than the United States. So if you were to walk around the equator of Pluto, it would be the same distance as walking from London to Denver. There are more volcanoes on Venus than any other planet in our solar system. There are more than 1,600 major volcanoes across the surface of Venus. According to mathematics, white holes are possible, although, as of yet, we have found none. So we actually know more about Mars and our moon than we do about our oceans. So scientists have mapped about 100% of the surface of Mars and Earth's moon, whereas we've only been able to map roughly 5% of the ocean floor. Only 5% of the universe is visible from Earth. The Black Arrow is the only British satellite to be launched using a British rocket, and that was developed during the 1960s. Light travels from the sun to the Earth in less than 10 minutes. At any given moment, there are at least 200,000 thunderstorms happening on Earth. The closest galaxy to us is the Andromeda Galaxy. It's estimated at 2.5 million light years away. The first supernova observed outside of our own galaxy was in 1885. The distance between the Sun and Earth is defined as an astronomical unit, and it equates to roughly 93 million miles, or 150 million kilometers. The first ever black hole photographed is 3 million times the size of Earth, and it was released in April 2019, and it shows a halo of dust and gas 310 million trillion miles from Earth. Mercury and Venus are the only 2 planets in our solar system that have no moons, and there's a total of 176 confirmed moons that orbit the planets in our solar system. The hottest planet in our solar system is Venus, and most people think it might be Mercury because it's the closest planet to the Sun, but Venus has a lot of gases in its atmosphere, which creates a greenhouse effect. Our solar system is 4.57 billion years old. If a star passes too close to a black hole, it can be torn apart. The second man on the moon was Buzz Aldrin. Moon was Aldrin's mother's middle name. Buzz Aldrin's birth name was Edwin Eugene Aldrin, and he got the nickname Buzz from his sister's mispronunciation of the word brother. The Mariner 10 was the first spacecraft that visited Mercury in 1974. Space is completely silent, and that's because there's no air in space, and air is needed to carry the sound vibrations. On Venus, it snows metal and rains sulfuric acid. The first woman in space was a Russian called Valentina Tereshkova, and she launched on June 16, 1963. She spent almost 3 days in space and orbited the Earth 48 times in her space capsule before returning to Earth. Astronauts can grow approximately 2 inches in height when in space, and this is due to the lack of gravity. The space causes the discs between the vertebrae to expand a little. However, this extra height is lost when you return to Earth. Coca-Cola was the first commercial soft drink that was ever consumed in space. If Saturn's rings were 3 feet long, they would be 10,000 times thinner than a razor blade. The Hubble Space Telescope is one of the most productive scientific instruments ever built. The first artificial satellite in space was called Sputnik, and it was launched by the Soviet Union in October 1957. The center of the Milky Way smells like rum and tastes like raspberries, and this was discovered by the IRAM radio telescope. Zeroed in on a gas cloud called Sagittarius B2 in the center of our galaxy. The IRAM detected a chemical called ethyl formate, which gives rum its distinct smell and raspberries their distinct flavor. Exoplanets are planets that orbit around other stars. So we orbit around the sun, and exoplanets orbit around other stars. Spacesuit helmets have a Velcro patch to help astronauts itch. Saturn is the only planet that could float in water because it's mostly made of gas. Asteroids are byproducts of formations in the solar system more than 4 billion years ago. The ISS is visible to more than 90% of Earth's population. Pluto is named after the Roman god of the underworld, not the Disney dog. A sunset on Mars is blue, and it's blue due to the way the blue light from the sun is captured within the atmosphere of Mars. Astronauts cannot burp in space because the lack of gravity in space means the air in the astronaut's stomach doesn't separate and rise up from ingested food. The The first mammal to go into space was a dog named Laika from Russia. The Earth weighs about 81 times more than the Moon. So Mercury has no atmosphere, which means there's no wind or weather. The word astronaut means star, sailor. In China, the Milky Way is known as the Silver River. In Japan and Korea, Silver River means galaxies in general, not just the Milky Way. Scientists once believed that the same side of Mercury always faced the sun. However, in 1965, astronomers discovered that the planet rotates 3 times during every 2 orbits it makes. Jupiter's red spot is shrinking, and so the huge swirling hurricane-like storm that used to be 3 times the size of Earth is shrinking over time, but as it shrinks, it gets taller. A large percentage of asteroids are pulled in by Jupiter's gravity. Red dwarf stars that are low in mass can burn continually for up to 10 trillion years. In China, the Milky Way, As space has no gravity, pens won't work. So normal pens work by gravity pulling the ink towards the pen's nib, the writing part. As there's no gravity in space, the ink doesn't get pulled to the nib. There are 88 recognized star constellations in our night sky. The center of a comet is called a nucleus. A day on Mercury is equivalent to 58 Earth days. And that's because Mercury rotates on its axis very slowly compared to Earth. On average, it takes the light only 1.3 seconds to travel from the Moon to the Earth. Mars is most likely the planet in our solar system to be hospitable to life. So in 1986, NASA found what they believe may be fossils of microscopic living organisms in a rock recovered from the Earth's surface of Mars. Halley's Comet will pass over Earth again on July 26, 2061. There's a planet half the radius of Earth with a surface made up of diamonds. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet. And that is all the space facts that I have for you today. Thank you for listening. I hope that you are feeling relaxed and well rested. I will see you later. Goodbye.